How do I tell my husband that when he's out of town, the kids are in bed by 7 p.m., the house is clean, and I can watch trash TV by 7:30 p.m.? Yes, he's the problem. How do I tell
Do you know that some women actually prefer when their husband is not around, probably he traveled, they prefer to be alone with the kids, even if they have four children. They prefer to be alone with the kids because it's easier when the husband is not around. Look at this woman saying that how can she explain to her husband that the kids are at bed and she's enjoying her trashy TV around 7:30? Like life is easy now. She sees that it is a problem. Most of the time, so women are actually better off single mothers than being in a relationship with these men that do not help them. Because the fact that your husband is not around and things are easier in the house, everything is going smoothly the way you want it, I feel like you will strive better as a single mother than being a married single mother. Let me show you this interesting video, you guys, and I'll see you at the end of the video.
my husband that when he's out of town, the kids are in bed by 7 p.m., the house is clean, and I can watch trash TV by 7:30 p.m.? Yes, he's the problem. Couple things. The key here is understanding exactly what men feel validated by under the patriarchy. Once you understand the connection, you will never have this question or dilemma ever again. One of the biggest things that gives men their ego validation is the idea of being served, is the idea of things revolving around them. Once again, this is connected to the patriarchy because the most important men that exist in the hierarchical structure of the patriarchy are typically surrounded by service workers. They're surrounded by people that clean up after them, that keep and manage their appointments, that take care of their children, that take care of all of their laundry, ironing, shoe and clothing repairs, etc. I mean, I could keep going, right? But the higher that you are on that patriarchal hierarchy, the more of your needs are taken care of by other people. It is actually not based around service to others, it's based around service to self. Now make that connection with how they act at home. They want to come home from being an underling at their job, and they want to come home and be serviced and treated exactly like a CEO. Because again, according to the patriarchal hierarchy, they are the highest on the totem pole of your household. You're the woman, so you're automatically below them. You're a female, and the kids are automatically seen as their property, their progeny, their legacy. They're not seen as like individual people. They're seen as like at worst very inconvenient, and at best an extension of the man. There's no individuality here. All of you exist to serve him. That's why he's poorly emotionally regulated. That's why he's messy. That's why he's lazy. All of that. I promise you he's not like this at work. Because at work, he knows his place. And when he's at home, he wants you to know your place. The reason he knows what his place is at work is because of who is dumping what kind of extra work and extra workload on him. So he comes home and he mimics that. That's something a lot of men do as well. They're not encouraged to have critical thinking skills, especially in these kind of hierarchical work environments. They're expected to just do as they're told. They're expected to listen to the higher up in charge. So when they come home, they immediately assume that position. They assume the position of the higher up in charge, and they start dumping off work and creating work for you to do, because this is exactly what validates them under the patriarchy, which is why when they leave, you're like, where's all the work that I'm normally doing? Where is all of the cleaning up and picking up and the laundry and the emotional regulation I'm supposed to be doing? Like, it feels so weird to be able to relax at 7:30 p.m. when typically I would be up until like 10:30, 11 o'clock, dealing with the consequences of just this man being here physically. Like, stop and think about that, right? So to the woman who posted this, respectfully, if you knew that, you would have never ended up with such a loser, that your life actually gets easier when he's out of town. A good husband being out of town should make your life feel harder. Not like undoable, not insurmountable, but you should be like, dang, like he's usually here to help with the kids. He's usually here cooking dinner or something. Now I have to do all of it. Instead, Her and all the women in the comments are talking about how they no longer have to cook a 4-course meal because their husband's not here and them and their kids are very low maintenance. Why were you doing that work? If you and all your kids are fine eating like corn dogs or whatever, like some little girl dinner, why the fuck are you making a 4-course meal? To watch somebody do so much extra labor at your expense and not be moved at all, not feel ashamed of themselves, to not question what else they can contribute is hella weird. So A, not only would you have not married a loser, B, you would also no longer feel the need to gaslight other women about the usefulness of men. Just tell me why this woman came to you in good faith and said, same with, I'm starting to think postpartum depression has zero to do with physically having a baby and more to do with the realization that our partner is not meeting our expectations of how we assume they would help and support us. And in response, the woman who originally posted the video says, my husband is so supportive, it just takes some time. Yours will be that soon. I had postpartum with one of mine and it was so hard. Men just don't know how to help, so speak up with what you need. I say this with a lot of love, but this is dummy talk. Because how in the same sentence that you're talking about a postpartum woman who literally just gave birth, especially if this is her first child, somehow she knew how to do all of that. She knew how to push the baby out. She knew how to deal with a complicated surgery. She knows now everything that baby needs. And all of that burden is on her and her dumb dipshit husband who didn't have the responsibility of carrying the baby or birthing the baby, doesn't even have the option to help you breastfeed the baby or whatever. Nothing changes for him, body-wise, hormone-wise, really nothing changes for him. And you have the nerve to say that it's okay for him to not know what to do in those moments. Like he didn't have 9 months to prepare himself to know exactly what to do and how to help you. He couldn't ask his own mom how to best help his wife. He couldn't ask his wife's mom. He couldn't ask his sister. He couldn't ask any woman that he knows about what should I do so that my wife isn't miserable and doesn't hate me after she gives birth. You had to teach him and like he had to figure it out and like take all this time to learn. You know what would happen if you did that as a woman? Your baby would unalive. So please, I'm begging you, stay safe out there from these kinds of men and these kinds of women that are going to gaslight you and tell you that it's okay for men to be useless, incompetent creatures that attach to you and your children like a parasite, okay? That's not normal. Godspeed, y'all. I love you. Mwah.
As a woman who was raised by a single mom, I cannot tell you how many women are actually living the life of a single mom, but so much worse because they're married single mom. And my buddy Wifey Edit made this great video about this woman's post, but this woman's not even married. Like, she's calling it to her husband. She's engaged. She's not even married to this man. And so when I'm going to tag this video that Wifey made. It's great. When I tell you how, if you really do not want to get completely screwed in life, you have got to not want to get married this bad. If you want to get married this bad, you have a target on your head to do endless labor. She has 3 children from this man, and look, fiance, and her post here, he didn't even propose to her a year ago. So I'm just going to reread this because I want women to understand what these posts are about. On one level, I think it's healthy to acknowledge that you are being exploited, that your life is better when your husband is not around. If he literally does nothing but add additional unpaid labor, then yeah, you are getting screwed. But what happens is that there's this whole thing, especially with white women, where we are really identify as a victim, and we kind of lean into that and then basically just complain and get to be victims. And when people rightfully are like, I don't know, this doesn't sound like a good situation for you, they're like, my husband loves me! And I get it. That's a natural reflex when you feel attacked online. As somebody who gets attacked as a person online all the time, believe me, I have to take a pause and be like, wait a second, do I really right? And when your whole platform is about getting married and being a mom, then you have a lot to lose. But what I am hoping is happening, and this isn't even about her, okay? There are a lot of women online who come online and complain about their husbands. And I'm really grateful that those women do that, because women, until social media really started to expose this, a lot of women had no idea how screwed women are getting in marriages. They're still believing this lie that men make your lives better. And while they can make your lives better, they absolutely are most likely to make your life worse. And your children's life worse if you choose to, or maybe not even choose to, if you end up having them. Because a lot of these men will baby trap you too. But as somebody, I really want to make the case, yet again, for being a single mom over this nonsense, okay? And what's crazy is that women who choose to be single moms by having a child and not involving the dad at all, and are just like, I'm good, go and they do their own thing because they don't want this man suing them for child support. Because if you're a successful woman and you have a baby with a homosexual, guess what? You're going to pay that. He's going to want custody so he can take your paycheck. But anyway, a lot of women, especially after the holidays, realize, man, I am really not getting anything out of this. All I do is endless labor. And the only reason this man is with me is to get all this free and endless labor and access to my body whenever he wants. Because marital grape is a big reason why men marry. Because they don't want to have to look for all the time. They got you at home. And even though conjugal duties is an outdated term, most men still actually have that mindset. Yeah. And they'll huff and puff, and they'll be moody, and they'll do a silent treatment, or they do all kinds of stuff because you are their little toy. And so as somebody who grew up with a single mom, this was not my reality. It was normal for me to see a woman having a job, having her own, paying her bills, taking care of her kids, and not having an additional terrifying grown child in her home, who insists that she center him, insists that he's more important than her kids, and acts more unregulated, emotionally unregulated than his own children. So I did not realize what a blessing that was, that not only was my mom a single mom since I was 4 years old, but that she actually stayed single until towards the end of high school. So I didn't have any of this to witness. And I know there is a financial component, and women lose a lot in divorces oftentimes. And I know a lot of women financially can't leave yet, right? Or can't leave because of safety reasons yet. But I am telling you, if you think that your life is going to be harder as a single mom, even with the financial stuff, some of it is devastating. Some of it is like women are thrown into poverty. But when I tell you how much these men are killing you, your nervous system, your career aspirations, your ability to make money, what you can give your children, what you can give yourself, all of that is being compromised. Literally, your health is being compromised by staying with these men. And you are falling more and more into learned helplessness. The same way we criticize men and their learned helplessness, when women stay with these men too long, the longer you stay, the higher the stakes are. The longer you stay, the less confidence you have, the less maybe even resources and will and self-respect you'll have to actually leave, right? The more fear you're going to have, the longer you stay. And so a lot of women will hold out until the very end, until their kids are out of whatever. And then guess what? Your kids are going to repeat this exact dynamic unless they get a lot of help. But what is really sad about this is that when you go to her page, this man who is already not there, like she's just told the whole world that her husband is pretty worthless because her life is so much easier with him not there. And then in the comments, it's like, yeah, it's like having another child. She's liking those comments, but then she's also defending him at the same time. And, if you look at her content, this man would not even be in photos with her on her page until after like their second child. And she's really obsessed with this wedding, she finally got engaged a year ago after she's been with this man for like 5 years or something. finally got engaged and, is trying on wedding, can't wait. But she's calling him husband, unless they had a secret wedding, which I'm sure would be on her internet. If she got married by now, we would see those photos. So she's just a fiance,
Yeah.
but she's already embracing this role as the victim of a man, this, helpless, just going to complain about this man. And as Cecilia Regina has pointed out plenty of times, which really helped me understand it, that a lot of women, they come online to complain about their husbands as it's like a pressure release, right? It's not with the intent to change. It's not with the intent of listening to the women in their comments saying this isn't right, this isn't normal. It's not with any of those things. It's literally to get it off their chest, basically to vomit all over us all their stuff so that they feel a sense of relief, and they get validated by the other women in those kinds of relationships who are also never going to leave these men. And then they can have a sense of community and camaraderie without having to do the hard work of facing the fact that this man is exploiting you. And so all these photos that she has with her children, being a mom, being pregnant, she's got so many photos from years. I mean, look at this. Like, even her pregnancy announcements she's all by herself. Now, this was back in 2019. She just turned 33, so she was like in her 20s, and she's with a man who's like 41 now. All these photos with these babies, all these pregnancy photos, she's totally alone. All of these photos is just her and this baby and some of her friends. Every pregnancy one, my womb mate. Hell, even, the Christmas with just the daughter. All this, just her. And it wasn't until like September 2022 that this man was even show his face on her page. Now, we don't know why. Maybe there could be reasons for that, but I don't tend to give men the benefit of the doubt. And I'm assuming that this man, because, he's having kids with her, but isn't, married to her, hasn't even engaged to her. And, now with 3 kids, they're engaged. I'm just going to assume that this man is like really not that into her. Right? Like, all of a sudden he started appearing on her page, and then he's in like every photo. Where was he the whole rest of the time? A lot of men withhold their presence on your social media as a way to control you. Or the opposite, like Ms. Aisha taught me when we did a live together and the Risk podcast together, is that a lot of men will do the opposite, and they'll use your presence on social media and their connection to you as a way to also control you, because it's going to be humiliating for y'all to break up. Like, they'll do either extreme, refuse to be on your social media or post you, or the opposite extreme is be connected to you forever, so that you have to make that announcement.
Some of the times, these women are actually single married women. They are actually single married women, and I feel like they know, but because of that tag of I'm married, I mean, I have a man. Do you have a man? I've got a man. That's tied to sometimes allows some women to just do things. I don't know, because I just feel like if things are going to be easier for you when your man is not around, you're better off doing it alone. Because I feel like sometimes these men intentionally put a lot of weight on you, and sometimes you will not know until they are out of town, until they are not around. Some women, they don't even know how much that their husband is helping them until the man leaves, and they realize that, can you imagine? I don't even know how to do this. I don't even know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Why? So when their husband is not around, that is when they have that freedom. They don't cook all the time. The children are obedient. Children are like, I just feel like when you're in that position, it's better off you being a single mom than you being single mom in a married home. I feel like you being a single mother in a married home is even more exhausting than you handling those children by yourself outside of the marriage, because by then you know that yes, you are the one that is, handling these children alone. You are living alone without a man, because living with a man, addition to those children, is like you're adding extra burden to yourself. Some of the time, these men actually act like they cannot do anything. I feel like sometimes they can. They just don't do it because they know that you will do it. They act like they cannot do anything. They act like they cannot do without you. They act like they don't even know how to do things, or you're the one that's supposed to be able to do all of this because you're the woman of the house. Most of the time, they do it intentional. Like, they are very intentional with that thing. There's a video circulating that this man was trying to fold I think the bed sheets or something. He was trying to fold the bed sheets while they were cleaning the house. He was folding it the right way because there was a camera in the house. So he was folding it the right way, but then he will do it another way and try to do as if he doesn't know how to do it. He acts as if he doesn't know how to do this thing. And the wife is doing her own thing. They're both arranging the house together. So it's like he's helping, but he's not helping. So he's trying to fold it, but then he will fold it anyhow. If you get it right, and he will just change it again and act like he doesn't know how to do it. Then until the wife carried this bed sheet and folded it and just dumped it and be like, okay, I'm going to do it myself. Then he was like, as if he doesn't know how to do it. You guys, he knew how to do that thing. He was getting it. He got it right several times. Several times. But he was trying to act like, see, I don't know how to do it. So next time, don't ask me to do it. Most of the time, these men do this thing. This is like weaponizing companies. They know how to do this. They know how to take care of those children. But because they know that, let me act like I don't know how to do it. Let me just run away or let me do something. She will undo everything. Then they'll act like they cannot do it. Then you will not be the one that will do everything. I feel like if you're living with a man and you have kids with this man, don't do everything by yourself. Don't do everything by yourself. Don't put yourself in that position where you have to do everything by yourself. The thing is, these men know what they are doing. They always know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. They know how exhausting you are, and they'll sit, act like they can't do anything in the house. They act like, okay, even though you've been at home all day with the children, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't cook for me. Even though you have to still cook for me. You have to still do this, you have to still do that. I don't know how to do the laundry. I don't know how to. Hey, they cannot do it. In fact, they act like you even staying at home all day with the children, like you've been flexing. Do you know I've been at work all day? Do you know I've been working? But you are just at home with the children. Like, I wish I can stay at home with you. They would not stay at home with any children. Don't mind them. They know how exhausting. They know the work we do. They know how exhausting it is. But they still try to, make you feel like, you guys, what's your take on this video? Let me know your thoughts about this video down in the comment section. Respectfully, as always, Sugar Maria David, and thank you so much for tuning in today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you on my next one, guys. Bye.